Wonderful.
Awesome. Karen, thank you so much for telling your story and being a part of the Husker Cancer Support event this year.
Yes.
Your participation is amazing. And so could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your major, involvement on campus?
So I've been at the university since 1989 as an undergrad and then as a graduate student. During that time I was a part of the University Program Council and then also worked with you in the Culture Center. But we met in both of those spaces. Also got my graduate degree here at UNL. And I've been a professional staff since 1999. So I'm going on my 26th year as the UPC advisor.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your cancer story and how you were connected?
So I discovered my appendix cancer actually from doing, I had a hernia from a dance injury. So it's one of those movements where I'm supposed to stand like this and then somebody does like a little fan kick over my back. And the girl doing it didn't want to do the fan kick. So I'm like, okay, so we had another dancer do it who was a little bigger than me, and it caused a hernia. So I went in and, I was wondering, it looked like an egg was protruding through my down by my leg, and I'm like, well, that's weird. So I went to my OBGYN, I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, well, it could be your hernia or it could be your ovaries. So why don't we just have you get some tests done? And then went in to go get the hernia repaired, and while the doctor was in surgery, discovered that there was mucus in the cavity, and that's when he said, well, I don't know that it's cancer, but it could be, so we're actually going to send you to Omaha, to the Fred and Pamela Buffett Cancer Center to talk to Dr. Jason Foster. And that was in September, it was actually 9/11 of 2017. That's when Dr. Foster said, yes, you have mucin-producing appendix cancer, and all because of a dance injury. But I, since then, have had that hernia repaired, but I think also because as a dancer, that helped me to be aware of my body, and also to help me to actually go through treatment and everything quicker and recover faster. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
What was the most difficult part of your journey?
For me, crazy, while I was in surgery, the retractor actually paralyzed my right leg. So when I woke up from surgery, I went into surgery 6 in the morning, came out at midnight, and during that very, very, very long surgery, which also included hot chemotherapy. So I never went through, everybody's gone through chemotherapy, radiation, losing the hair. I didn't go through all that. So I didn't have that difficulty. For me, it was relearning how to walk. So when I got up at midnight, they said, okay, Karen, you gotta get up and move into this chair. So I got up off, and then I went to take a step and about collapsed. Luckily, 2 nurses were there just to make sure. And they're like, what? I go, I can't feel my leg. It's like, what? It's like, I can't feel my leg. It had paralyzed my leg. So I had to go through recovery of my surgery, but then I also had to go and learn how to walk. And my physical therapist said, what's your goal? What is it that you want out of physical therapy? I said, for me, not only to walk, but to dance. I have to audition for Mamma Mia at the Lincoln Community Playhouse. And this was in 2017, and that was going to be the summer of 2018. I said, I need to be able to walk. And my physical therapist had never worked with dancers. And everything you do in dance is in turnout. And when they do everything, everything's parallel. So I was teaching him, and he was teaching me, and it was just this crazy process. So that's probably the thing for me that was the most difficult. But then I ended up having bowel obstruction. Went through all that in 2019, had to go through surgery again to repair that, and it reparalyzed the bottom half of my leg.
Wow.
So I had to go through this whole process again, but it wasn't my entire leg, but still, it was just the retractor. The doctor even tried everything. He said, because I'm so small, that it was hard to protect it, to not have it happen. So that's probably for me. It's just not just going through the cancer, but having to relearn how to walk. And going through that physical challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who or what provided you the most support throughout this time frame?
My husband, Matt, he went to every appointment. He came and visited me because for both of those surgeries, the first surgery, I think I was in the hospital for almost 3 weeks. You know, he came up when he could. And there were many times when I went through my bowel obstruction that I had to go to the hospital here in town in Lincoln, and he would stay the night. And then after that surgery, I think I was at UNMC for like 9-10 days. And you know, I'm like, you gotta work, you gotta make sure the kids, I mean, because my kids were young. My daughter was in middle school, my son, I think, was in high school, I think. If I do my calculations right, some things you just don't remember. But, you know, just having my family there, always being encouraging, and then my best friends, yeah.
Wow. What have you learned about yourself?
That I can get through anything.
Yeah.
And that it's, for me, you know, Matt, my husband, and I we were very fortunate that my oncologist kind of rolled with the punches with us, because we like to joke and take things, make funny jokes about things. And for us, we would say things and giggle, and he would giggle along with us. You know, he knew that if we were being funny about something, it wasn't being disrespectful. It's just how I got through the moment, and just I couldn't be serious. I mean, it was hard because I gotta be positive. I gotta keep going. Gotta get to that end goal, and you can't do it if you just kind of be dreary and think the negative thoughts. I mean, you really gotta just power through and stay positive.
There's a saying that laughter does good like medicine.
It does.
And so
yeah.
when you find a place, a hard place, sometimes those moments of lightheartedness can bring healing in the process.
And joy.
And joy.
And happiness. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is there a moment or a memory from your experience that also stands out?
Yes. I just had interviewed Mary Beth Helmink, and I agree with her. It's a moment that my husband and I always think about. And it was when I'd gone in to get the repair for my hernia. And, you know, the doctor said, that's when he goes, well, I'm not sure if it's cancer or not. And Matt was standing there, and he goes, stop. And he laid down on the floor. And I had just gotten out of surgery. I'm like, sweetie, you okay? So the nurse goes into the bathroom to wet some paper towels to put on his head, and the surgeon is fanning him. And I'm the one that just got out of surgery, but I'm worried about my husband who's about passed out. I go, are you okay? He goes, it's a little rough when you're told that the person that you love is gonna have cancer, and you don't, you know, he said the room just shrank, and he thought he was gonna pass out. And I think that was probably the most difficult for me, was to watch, oh, I don't wanna cry, Matt go through it as well. And all the difficult times of him sleeping on the chair in the hospital room or in whatever makeshift awful bed that they had. But for me, it was just that moment. It wasn't me finding out that it might be cancer. It was my poor husband on the floor worried that I might die. And I wasn't gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because you two have been together
Since high school.
Yes.
Just before our junior year of high school, since 1987.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. He's been there the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How has your experience shaped your life today?
Again, interviewing all the other students and staff through this, it's just helped you to appreciate the little things and to make sure that you don't make a big deal out of things that don't need to be made a big deal out of. I know, you know, at work, you gotta go, but then there's times where I just like, you know what? I gotta just focus on something else. You gotta focus on family, you gotta focus on friends. They may be going through things, but it's just realizing that you gotta take every day and give myself grace.
Yes.
And know that it's okay if I can't get something done, or, you know, just don't have the energy. I mean, it's been 8 years, but there's still days where I'm just like, whew, I just need to just think about myself. I mean, because I'm always giving, but I need to just remember that if I'm not healthy, then I can't be healthy for others. And then, you know, to help them out.
What does hope look like? Because it sounds like through your journey, hope never left.
No, never,
So-
never has.
What does that look like?
You know, all the way back, when I found out, I think the hardest thing was telling my daughter, you know, because she was in middle school, and I had to tell her as soon as I could, and she had come out of dance class and came in the car, and I told her. And it's again, it's funny, she can remember the whole official name of my cancer. I can I can never even remember the name, but she will spout it out. And she goes, Mom, you can't leave me, I need you. I said, sweetie, I'm not going anywhere. And that's the hope. I mean, I want to see her, she's here at UNL, she's a sophomore, I want to see her graduate, she wants to go to medical school, she wants to be an OBGYN, and she said because of the experiences that I've gone through watching the doctors and the nurses, and she wants to be able to provide that for others. So for me, you know, the hope to watch, you know, my son who graduated last year, still trying to find a job, but, you know, just the hope of watching my children grow and to be successful and happy in whatever they do. And then for me, for both of us, it's our students.
Yeah.
Just watching, you know, the hope that I have that they're going to continue to make positive choices, to make a difference in others, to graduate, to come back and visit us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just just for me, it's just, hope is just continuing on and being happy and being happy with others. I'm a people person. I'm very empathetic and just wanting to share that hope with others too.
And you actually charted a lot of your journey
Yes.
for us to
Follow
follow
along.
along.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of courage to
Yeah.
be that open
Vulnerable.
and vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit?
Yeah, I told my cancer doctors, and I love social media, you know, Instagram and Facebook, and I was like, this is a great opportunity for me to be able to share every step of the way so that everybody knows what I'm going through. And I don't, not for sympathy or anything, it's so that everybody understands what I'm going through for my cancer. Everybody's cancer journey is different. But to know, you know, all the different injections that you have to get, or just how drinking, the things you have to do before a scan is just gross, and you know, the lack of sleep that you get, and hospital beds are uncomfortable, and just everything, even, you know, everything that I did, I don't do videos, it's just a lot of picture moments. And I would also ask all the nurses and doctors, are you okay with me taking a photo? And like, oh yeah. And then I even have told my doctor and my nurse, I said, anytime you get a new patient, give them my social media information. And I'm totally okay with them reaching out. So I'm constantly checking my Instagram, but I have to kind of go into the hidden messages because, you know, I may not be friends with them, but they'll, you know, the minute I open, I can tell this is a real person needing not necessarily help, just guidance, support. It may be themselves, it may be their brother, maybe their mom, maybe they're just a friend, and they don't know where to go. There's a Facebook group that I'm a part of, appendix cancer Facebook group, and I usually send them there because most people don't have my version of appendix cancer, but they may have a different, so you may find somebody to connect there. But I also tell them, don't just stay in there and dwell. It's not good. At least find somebody you could connect with and then connect outside of that. Because there was times where I would be in this Facebook group, I'm like, whoa, it's too much negative. But then there's some positive in there too. I mean, you'll see things that happen. So for me, it was just important to share my journey, and then to be able to help others that may be going through the same thing, or to guide them to others in other types of cancer too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you hope people take away from your story?
That there is hope. You know, again, not everybody makes it through, but just be hopeful. For everybody, it's different. A lot of people, you know, it's their faith that takes them through, or it's their family, their friends. You know, just waking up to see the next day. Is it gonna be sunny? Is it gonna be cloudy? You know, just going on bike rides with my husband, going on walks. And just for me, if there's anything that you take away from Karen Freeman Wills's appendix cancer journey, is that just ask questions. It's okay. I was okay with people asking me questions. I know some people are a little more private, but if anything, ask the person, may I ask you questions about what you're going through? And if they say, maybe not right now, respect that. And if they say, like me, heck yeah, ask me anything you want. I'm open. But it's probably that, just to ask. Ask for if it's okay or if it's not, and be respectful, be encouraging. Don't try to dwell on the negative stuff. Try to always be positive, forward-going, and yeah.
Well, for 30-some years, we'll continue this journey.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
we will.
And I'm very, very, very thankful
Well, thanks,
that you took time
Rochelle.
to come and be a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.